Okay, people, what we have here is the Oppo Reno 16 series, being the Oppo Reno 16 Pro on my right and the Oppo Reno 16 non-Pro. Spot the difference. Well, let me just give you my quick review and impressions of it, going through both of these phones and what my thoughts are. Okay, let's start with the outside and work our way in. Design and build quality, and like I said, spot the difference. They pretty much look exactly the same. Like, how do you even spot them? The unique characteristic is this 3D holographic design for the back. I don't know how well you can pretty much make out for this on camera, but in person, it's like it's floating at you and it's also disappearing into the edges. So a very unique approach to what you have here. On the right, you do have the volume rocker at the top. I do prefer them as separate buttons, and you've got the power button, of course, and of course you've got the action button on the left that you can program to launch and do whatever you need to do when it comes to it. Overall, the bezels are very nice and even. The build quality is really good. It takes dual physical SIM cards as well as support for eSIM. Yeah, it's kind of like what you would expect, and it feels really compact, all things considered for the size of it, which again, that is something we're going to talk about moving over to the display. Front and center, this is an OLED display derivative, what you would come to expect looking at a phone like this. I believe they are 6.32 inches. And it's near enough the same when it comes to both the displays. A lot of what you will see with this phone is very similar as we go through. And the resolution is a max of 1216 with a horizontal resolution of 2640. It's 120 hertz, I believe. Yes, when it comes to what we have with the display, high refresh rate. We've got 120 hertz on the non-Pro one and 144 hertz on a Pro model, so that's a differentiating factor. When I did the screen brightness measurement without automatic brightness on a clear white background, they were both around 850 nits. Again, when you're on automatic brightness and you are in a bright condition, it's going to push way past that 1000 nits and be brighter, but that standard measurement has no auto brightness assistance there. So these screens are bright for what they are, but I do wish the standard brightness measurement was over 1000 nits, like what you would see from some of the competition. But overall, these are really good displays, thin borders and bezels all around, which is really good. Next, let's go into the camera. And the first thing that's going to be determined by how good the camera is going to be the hardware. Both of them are using a rear triple camera system and a front selfie camera system as well. Now, what is the differentiating factor? Because a lot is similar on this phone. What this is doing here is with the Pro, you've got a main camera that is 200 megapixels and then a 50 megapixel ultra wide and a 50 megapixel zoom. And it's a 50 megapixel front facing camera. Whereas with the non-Pro is 50 megapixels all around for every single camera sensor, which is great to see. And overall, I tested the camera briefly, and I would say this is the strongest you're going to be seeing compared to the competition, having a 3.5x zoom and also the ultra wide and the high res mode for the Pro being something that you can push to 200 megapixels is really impressive what you're able to do when it comes to that, right? And that is a benefit, as you can see, 200 megapixels for the high res mode for the Pro model for the main 1X sensor. And what they've been able to do on both is enable the ability to record in 4K 60 FPS on all the sensors, which is great to see. And that is also including the selfie. And you would have the flexibility of being able to switch between the lenses as well as come to the front facing camera and to the back. I really value those type of usabilities where you don't have to cut recording and continue. So the camera quality and capabilities for what these phones are for Reno products are really good. And all the other features that you would expect to be there is there. Portrait mode as well. And also you've got video portrait mode access, which is great to see. Yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with the camera system for what they are and where they are meant to be sitting as Reno devices. So again, let me know if you do want to see an in-depth testing with these two when it comes to my definitive camera comparisons. Maybe compare it to like some of the competition that I've got within that. But I think overall, just looking at it, the camera performs exceptionally well for what these are as Reno products, and I'm really impressed. Overall, maybe more testing is needed, but the initial, use that I had with it, yeah, I've been left really impressed with the camera system. Next is the specs and performance, and here is the differentiating factor for these two models. What I have here are 256 gigabytes of storage, and then the difference is the fact that the Pro model is using 12 gigabytes of RAM and the non-Pro is 8 gigabytes of RAM. And then the chipsets change. The Pro model is powered by the Dimensity 8550 Super, whereas the non-Pro is powered by the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 mobile platform. And this is a whole thing between MediaTek and also Qualcomm and Snapdragon. So looking at the performance benchmarks, clearly the Pro model is going to be faster, slightly faster single core, and also slightly faster, higher score when it comes to multi-core. So yeah, overall, both of them perform really well. But yes, the Pro model, as you would expect, is more powerful. Now, what's interesting is my game of choice is Asphalt Legends. And with Asphalt Legends, you can go to the maximum settings fidelity for both of them, but just be aware that with the Pro model, you do get the 120 FPS mode, whereas the non-Pro is limited to 90 Hertz. So if you care about that, this is definitely the way to go when it comes to the Pro model. But overall nowadays, when it comes to these, smartphones, beyond the benchmarks and also the real world usage, yeah, it's something that all of them work really well. Maybe in terms of the longevity of software support and stuff, the Pro model is going to be better because it has more RAM and all these AI features that come with the software. And that's something that you're going to be benefiting from if you go there. But yeah, overall performance is definitely something that's more beneficial on the Pro, but overall both of them really do well. Now for the battery and charging specifications, and both are packing silicon carbon based batteries with huge capacities considering the size of the phones. The Pro model, 6,700 milliamp hour battery and 6,000 milliamp hour battery on the non-Pro model. And I believe they support the Super VOOC charging at 80 watts. So yeah, you're gonna have plenty to do when it comes to charging on here. It's ridiculous the access that you have and the capabilities that you have when it comes to battery and charging. Now, most people do know me to be the guy that does the extreme battery drain test, but if you don't and you've come here for the first time, you enjoy this more detailed but still kind of a laid back review style that I'm doing nowadays with these phones, then be sure to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos on the Lover of Tech channel. My name is Ben, of course, and the road to 100,000 subscribers is still on the table for 2026. I would appreciate your support because with your help, we can make it happen. I've not done an extreme battery drain test on it, but I'll be honest with you, these Chinese phones are just getting too good. My time is getting way limited and I have to really pick my battles with the ones that I do the extreme battery drain test. I think honestly, my educated guess, you would easily be getting 9+ hours of screen on time when it comes to intensive usage on mobile cellular data only. Let me know if you do want to see an extreme battery drain test. I may look into it, maybe compare it to some of the competition, but I would say that with my recent history with the Oppo phones that I've been battery drain testing for the past 3 years, you are not going to have a problem when it comes to light usage, moderate usage over multiple days. And of course, with the Super VOOC charging, you are recharging no time flat. Last but not the least is software. Software is powered by ColorOS 16, which is of course based on Android 16. Now, of course, I'm not really one person that heavily focuses on software features and software experience. Near enough anything Android related is so mature and is so good now. I'm someone that really likes to focus on the technical testing as well as real world testing when it comes to doing the, extreme battery drain test, the definitive camera comparisons, the ultimate charging test, and the day in a life videos, the real day in a life videos. So definitely check them out when I do get around to doing them. So software is neither here or there for me. ColorOS is stable, fast, fluid, and all the feature sets that you would want in there. So yeah, it's pretty much that. I believe the price on an Oppo Reno 16 starts from around 699 euros, pounds, around there, depending on what storage model. Looking, I couldn't really see the price, so it's really just region dependent. So I will link it in the description below and put a pinned comment for that. But overall, I think for what they are, the Reno series have really matured, and it's kind of hard to really class them as mid-range. Like 2 years ago, what they were to what they are now, these feel like mini flagships. And maybe that's the intent. And if that's the case, Oppo, you're doing a great job. Let me know what your thoughts are about the Oppo Reno 16 series with the 16 and the 16 Pro. Do you find this 3D holographic design cool? What about the specifications and what they've done with the camera? I think I'm actually really impressed, especially with the camera and of course what I know from Oppo battery life. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. So you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.